This is our project tonight. We're going to be replacing the pump in our jacuzzi here. The pump mechanism here has given up on us, so it is time to pull the sucker out and replace it. It looks kind of intimidating in here with all the hoses and wiring and whatnot, but it really is not as bad as it looks. The very first thing you want to do, though, before you touch anything in here is make sure your jacuzzi is unplugged. And there's no power going to it. Before you mess with the water and electricity, always make sure everything's unplugged. So we've already unplugged it, and if you haven't done it already, usually somewhere on here, on the top or on the back, it'll have a model number, and you can look that up, look it up online, and order yourself a replacement pump. So here's our replacement pump. We ordered it from Spa Pumps and More, but there's a lot of different retailers that carry these online, so just kind of look for the best price, best warranty, etc. This one was actually about $150 cheaper than buying it from the spa manufacturer itself. My spa is a Dreammaker spa. The pump is still the same pump. It's a waterway pump, so the pump is made by the same manufacturer. But instead of ordering it through Dreammaker, I ordered online from a place that just sells pumps. It wound up being a lot cheaper than buying one from the manufacturer. So we're going to go ahead and start the replacement process. So the first thing to do is to get in here and loosen up these two collars. These two collars are what connect the pump to the inlet and outlet lines on here. And you want to do these before you loosen up these guys down here, because you're going to have to put a fair amount of torque on these to loosen them up. And the whole pump's going to wobble around a lot if you remove these ones first. So this is your first step, is to get these loosened up. To do that, we're going to use a pair of channel locks, and I modified these a little bit by wrapping a little bit of foam tape around the ends of them, just to prevent us from marring up these any more than they already are. Granted, you're never really going to see them, but you don't want to mess them up so much that you round off all these little guys and you can't get a good grip on it next time you need to get in here. Okay, so now we've got our two pieces here and here loosened up. So the next thing we can do is we can start working on removing the entire housing here. So we do have 4 bolts down here that we need to get in there and loosen up. And once those are loose, this whole piece will be loose, and we can start taking care of the wiring after that. Okay, so we've now got the bolts unhooked, so the entire motor now is loose, and that part is loose. The only thing we have left to do is unhook the wiring. So we got the ground here. We're going to follow the ground strap from the top of the motor down to our controller box here. And then you got to pop the box open in this case. We're going to follow the power cord, which is up here. Attaches the motor. Follow the power cord down through here and into here. And we're going to unhook our pump power cord here. So there's only 2 things to unhook: pump power and the ground strap here. On this controller box, there's a piece that goes across the top that you have to unscrew to release the cable. Once the cable is released, then you can get down inside the power box itself and release the cable by unclipping it and pulling it free. Follow that up by unscrewing the ground strap from the controller box. Now if your wire's unhooked and your pump unbolted, it's just a matter of getting the pump loose in there and kind of weaving it out and untangling through the mess of wires. So here we are back in the garage. Here is the old pump, and there is the new pump. All we have to do now is just transfer all the cables over. So we've got your ground strap. Take that guy off there. We're going to attach that here. And then we have the power cable down here. We're going to take the rear cap off this guy and move the power cable over to the new one. So the ground is the easy one. We're just going to unscrew it off the body of this one. And come over here and screw it onto the body of that one. Here we are back on our old one. We're moving the wire over, so you just take the rear cap off of it. And there is your wire connection. So we just need to unhook this so we can move all that onto the new one. Just a pointer, when you're doing something like this, if there's any confusion here as to where things are going to go and you have to unhook the whole thing, get out your phone and take a picture so you have something quick and easy you can get back and reference later if you have to. So I'm going to do that real quick just to err on the side of caution here. And we're going to get the phone in there and take a quick picture. That way you've got a record of it. After carefully taking note of what wires went to what, we transferred over the power cable and the ground. So there's a ground in there too. And so here's the old one. So we transferred over the power cable into the new one, and we are ready to button up the back. Now before you start putting everything back together, now's a good time to really go through and make sure that everything else is still looking good in here. I got a lot of debris and whatnot in here, so I'm going to take this time to really get in here with a blower and kind of clean everything out. Another thing you want to check is some of the other little parts. Right here we had gaskets for the union fittings, and those are shot, so we're going to replace those. And then what was right here were these vibration dampening mounts, and I'll show you what those look like. Those are these guys, and you can see these are really starting to crumble. Some of them have completely fallen apart. You can see this one is completely shot. So we went ahead and ordered new gaskets for the union fittings, and we also ordered new little vibration dampening mounts as well for the motor. I'm going to show you right here one of these vibration dampening mounts. What this is, it's a rubber piece that gives a little bit of dampening. So when that motor's on here and it starts on and it starts kicking around, it'll dampen the vibrations and isolate them so it doesn't transmit those vibrations into the body of the spa. It helps protect the body of the spa, it helps protect the motor, but it also just helps keep noise and vibrations down to a minimum. They're real simple. I'll show you over here. They just go right through, and then you run a nut on from the underside and they're mounted. So now it becomes a trick of getting that big motor with all of its wiring in through all of this wiring, lined up with all this stuff, and sitting on these mounts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dub over some nice calming music so you don't have to listen to the subtle obscenities that I'm whispering at my spa while I'm trying to get everything lined up. Okay, that actually went a lot easier than I had anticipated. Before you start hooking up these, you want to at least get these bolts on here finger tight. You don't want to tighten them up all the way because you are going to want a little bit of a play while you're lining everything else up. But we're just going to get these on there right now and just finger tight them on. The next challenging part is getting these union fittings and their gaskets in place and getting everything to thread on properly. It's a good idea to get a little bit of this stuff, some sort of pool and spa lube to put on there to apply it to your gasket and also into your threads and whatnot, because you are kind of wobbling things around and the threads can bind up, and you want to make sure that you're able to really torque it all the way down. So we're going to start putting this stuff back together. So there's one. Now we're going to get in here and get some of this lubricant here on the threads and everything else on the other side, and make sure that we have nice, good, smooth connections, and then we're going to torque everything down real good. The other thing with this lubricant is it is a little tacky, so it will actually help hold these seals in place as you're getting everything nice and lined up. Now with the fittings all torqued down, all that's left is to actually wire in the motor to the controller and fill it back up with water and fire it up. So the motor's just going to wire right back into the connector that it was wired into before. And then don't forget to hook up your ground up here as well. And once your ground is hooked back up, you're ready to fill it up and fire. The only thing left to do is fill your spa up with water, get some chemicals in it, fire it up, and then just check and make sure that you don't have any leaks, and you're good to go. If you enjoyed this video or this helped you out at all, please make sure to subscribe or hit the like button.